3 reasons why you need to stick around for this video. 1, learn how to make hand-pounded red curry paste. 2, learn how to make perfectly fried and crispy popcorn chicken. And 3, and most importantly, learn what they taste like together. Before we start pounding and getting our hands deep into this curry paste, I do want to tell you some important information about curry paste if you've never made your own. The first thing that I want you to know is that store-bought stuff pales in comparison to what you can make with fresh ingredients and hand-pounded yourself. The store-bought stuff, yeah, it can be useful in a pinch, but if you've never made one for yourself, I would definitely give it a shot. It's really, really not that hard. So curry paste in Thai cuisine is generally going to be a mix of herbs and chilies. And they're hand pounded down and used as a base in tons of dishes across the Thai cuisine. After it's pounded, generally they're mixed with things like coconut cream or milk, some palm sugar, and used as really the flavor base for all those Thai curries that we know and love. Now let's talk core ingredients of a curry paste. So a lot of these ingredients can be found in Asian grocery stores or international grocery stores. So just type one in Google Maps, see if you've got one close by. And even if it is a little bit of a trek, I would definitely urge you to try and go because there's so many different ingredients and things that you do not see in your typical grocery store. And I will say there are some great finds you can find in the frozen food section if you're looking for some late night bites. All right, so starting off, we have chilies. So chilies can be dried, they can be fresh, they can be red, they can be green. And this is really what provides the color for the curry paste. So there'll be yellow curries, green curries. We're gonna make a red curry today. So I've got some dry spurred chilies. And then next is gonna be Thai shallots. So you'll see that these are a lot smaller than the typical shallot that we see in kind of the Western and European, they're almost, sometimes double this size. And they do kind of have a slightly different flavor profile as well. Next is gonna be some garlic for some nice more aromatics. And then we have lemongrass. So lemongrass, this is probably something you'll need to find in the Asian grocery store. And it's got a nice subtle citrus that it provides the curry paste. Now, next is going to be galangal. So galangal is not ginger, though they are both part of the rhizome family. Galangal has kind of a different flavor profile. It's much more citrusy and kind of sweeter than what ginger is. You're not really supposed to, substitute these in Thai cuisine, but if you cannot find galangal, try it out with ginger. It's still gonna taste awesome, but you'll just kind of get a different flavor profile. And then next is cilantro root, and as you can see, I've got no roots on these. The cilantro root, depending on the time of year, can be pretty hard to find. So basically what I'm gonna do is use kind of this bottom half down here. I found it with the roots before in even, like a Harris Teeter or something, but, couldn't find it at the Asian grocery store. So, we're gonna make do. It's still gonna taste good. I'm not worrying about it. So then the last kind of core ingredient is gonna be shrimp paste, which is kind of a ground down paste with kind of shrimp parts. And, it's a really interesting flavor. I'm not gonna be using it for this recipe. I'm just gonna keep it real simple with the kind of the fresh herbs. But note that this is used in a lot of Thai curries. And then additional ingredients after, you've kind of pounded out the fresh ingredients, you can add spices, things like cumin, coriander, turmeric, peppercorns, things of that nature. It just really depends on what kind of flavor and what kind of curry paste it is. But always fun to experiment. I'll just kind of be focusing on these things and we're gonna add some salt. I'm not gonna add the extras. So now that you have your basic, curry paste 101, let's start making this paste.
So the first thing we're going to do is break down our ingredients into smaller pieces before we get them to the mortar and pestle, and that's going to make it a lot easier to pound them down and get them into that paste. And then I do want to point out for these chilies, I soak them in water. So if you look on the top right, remove the seeds and then let them soak in water to soften them up. And that'll make them easier to pound as well.
has a straight edge on it, so it's very easy. Maybe.
So here's a quick shot of all the ingredients, and you can see it's kind of even amounts of each of them, maybe a little bit heavier on the chilies, but now is when the fun starts. So we're basically going to add our ingredients in hardest to pound down to easiest to pound, and you want to make sure that you break down each ingredient completely before moving on to the next one. It'll make it a lot easier as you go. Make sure you put on some good music or maybe some Netflix while you do this, because it will take some time. You know, this probably took me around 35 minutes to pound completely, but I'm telling you, the experience is worth it. The smells are amazing.
All right, so we have our hand pounded curry paste. My arm is pretty tired right now, but the hard work is done. All we have left to do is create our popcorn chicken, and then I'm just gonna make a kind of buffalo sauce with the curry paste and butter, and it's gonna taste awesome. So let's start making our popcorn chicken, and I'll meet you back here when it's done.
This is the easiest foolproof method of making popcorn chicken that I know. So basically, I just cut up some chicken thighs, added salt, pepper, and an egg, and then a little bit of soy sauce and cornstarch, and just stir that all together. And then once that's all stirred together, we're just gonna dump it in a bag for flour, mix it all up, and then we're ready to fry. And creating that cornstarch batter and then putting it in the flour is going to give us some extra crispiness when we fry it. And also, I do want to show you a little pro tip when you actually go to fry this. Make and set up your fry station so you know exactly what you need to do. You know, chicken goes in the oil, then after it's in the oil, it goes up top to the wire rack. And there we go.
Our world here could live a happy little mountain.
And then basically, you just wait a few minutes until the chicken starts floating and it's golden and crispy, and that's it. It's so easy, and it's perfectly crispy fried chicken. And then to finish out, we just need to make our sauce, and all we're doing is butter and that curry paste that we hand pounded. This smells so good when you're cooking it down, and I cannot wait for you guys to try this. So toss your chicken in, you can hear how crispy it is, and then we're gonna throw in the curry paste and butter sauce and mix everything together, and that is all she wrote.
And now we are back where we started, the best time of the video, the time where we get to taste our masterpiece, all the work that we put in. We learned how to make hand-pounded red curry paste. We learned how to make perfectly fried popcorn chicken at home, and now it's time to taste. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. But without further ado, let's give it the taste test. Wow. That is actually out of this world. That is an insane flavor. The perfect crispiness from the popcorn chicken, and then just all the flavor from the curry paste. And you know, we mixed in the butter to kind of make it like a buffalo sauce, but this is truly authentic Thai meets Western, you know, fast food chain, and it is absolutely awesome. I wish you guys could try this with me. You get all those great aromatics from the paste, and it really, really works super well. I'm glad I gave this a try. So that will wrap it up for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.